We don't even have a fully virtual world yet, like the one in Ready Player One, or like the one in Snow Crash, if you've read that awesome book. Nope, we're still only at the smartphone stage of evolution, but the physical world has already lost our attention. No one notices that everything is falling apart all around us. And if they do notice, all they do is bitch about it on Facebook and expect somebody else to fix it. Dude, no one is coming to save you. I'm Jessica, and I used to live on Easy Street. I had nice things, and I ate and drank whatever I wanted. But the truth was, I lived paycheck to paycheck at a job I hated. Eating and drinking whatever I wanted made me fat and miserable. I had constant heartburn and hangovers, and I was drowning in debt. Today, I'm fit and happy, and I want the same thing for you. Join me each week, and let's commit to doing something hard together. Because it turns out that Easy Street is a dead end. The only way to become your best self is to take the path of most resistance. Welcome back to the show, where each week we attempt to do something difficult for 7 days. Our current challenge is to pack a lunch. And how's that going for you? So far, I've done it every single day except for one, and that's because it was date night. Our date night happens at lunchtime every week, so it's not really a date night. It's what do you call it when you hang out together in the middle of the day? A day date? I don't know. I know what I used to call it. Day drinking. But I don't drink anymore. In fact, May 1st marked 4 years of sobriety. For both of us, Knob's never been much of a drinker, so when I decided to give it up, it was an easy decision for him to quit too. It was easy for him to do too. It was much harder for me, so I am glad he did it with me. I found that the path of most resistance is most easily traveled with a companion. Not that doing hard things suddenly becomes easy, but it does become easier. Though getting sober was one of the most beneficial challenges I've ever completed, that's a story for another time. Today, we're talking about packing a lunch. As a reminder, if you missed last week's episode, we've changed the rules on the path of most resistance, and instead of counting points daily, there are now a variety of tasks you can complete to win the challenge each week. This includes points for redoing a task from a previous challenge, because if you only do something once, it doesn't do you much good, but if you keep trying, you can create a habit around it. Whether it's keeping a journal or fitting daily walks or breath work into your routine, if you want to make it stick, you need to do it longer than 7 days. If you're not sure what challenges we've already done, check out the list of episodes wherever you listen to the podcast. Each title is the challenge. And as long as we're talking about it, don't forget that if you really want to get your head in the game, you should subscribe to the Path of Most Resistance on Substack. It's totally free, but once you've signed up there, you'll be on the email list so you can receive the score sheet for each week's episode. It includes the recommended reading and other resources, plus the link to report your results at the end of the challenge. Did I mention you get points for doing that too? Check out the link in the show notes to sign up. Now that you know all the rules, let's talk about the next challenge. I'm going to start off by getting a little bit philosophical, but bear with me. Why are you here? You may recall that I asked you that during the first challenge, and I didn't mean it in the philosophical sense, but today I do. What is your purpose on this planet Earth? What were you put here to do? While I'm not sure there's just one answer for that question, here's a little food for thought. Regardless of the why, the what remains. We are here. We, the species known as Homo sapiens, not only exist, but we have an advantage over all of the other species because of our cognitive thinking ability. That's what led us to become the dominant species on the planet, right? Beavers may be able to build dams, but they don't build hydroelectric plants. Know what I'm saying? We're the capstone of the intelligence pyramid on this planet. We have all the power. But, as Uncle Ben told Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility. Yep, because we are the only species on the planet with these magical brains, it's our responsibility to be good stewards of the planet, to keep it running smoothly for the rest of the species on the planet that don't have our advantages. It's kind of like we're the only adults in a room full of children. If we don't keep that room tidy and secure, those kids are going to hurt themselves and maybe even die. We've already been failures at this if you take a look at the list of extinct species. Though we can't take credit for the dinosaurs, in the last 500 years, nearly 900 other species have become extinct because of humans. And we're not done yet. Have you heard of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch floating in the ocean? It's twice the size of Texas. Imagine how many species we're going to end up taking out with that one. Last year, Nob and I road tripped across part of the United States. We didn't take the freeways or interstates. We drove 6,000 miles of back roads and local highways. And I don't think there was a single mile out of those 6,000 that wasn't littered with garbage. It was quite frankly disgusting. We don't even have a fully virtual world yet, like the one in Ready Player One, or like the one in Snow Crash, if you've read that awesome book. Nope, we're still only at the smartphone stage of evolution, but the physical world has already lost our attention. No one notices that everything is falling apart all around us. And if they do notice, all they do is bitch about it on Facebook and expect somebody else to fix it. Dude, no one is coming to save you. As Marshall McLuhan said, there are no passengers on Spaceship Earth. We are all crew. Nope. If we want to make the world a better place, it takes action, not words. And that's why this week's challenge is to be a volunteer. Now, because I've been talking about saving the planet, you're probably thinking of picking up trash along the highway, or maybe that favorite hiking trail of yours, because of course there are assholes who throw trash on the ground there too. And that's great if that's what you want to do for your challenge this week. More power to you. Meaningful change isn't going to happen, though, unless we get more people involved. And one way to encourage others to do good works is to lead by example. So if your opportunity to volunteer this week is to be a chaperone on a school trip, do that. Because if being responsible stewards for the planet means creating a better life for all of the species, part of that action includes teaching other humans how to do their part. This week, find an opportunity to be a volunteer. Whether it's at the local animal shelter or Meals on Wheels, there are tons of nonprofits that survive solely because of volunteers. Ask your local school how you can help. I guarantee you they need something. And don't forget, there is always an ongoing blood shortage crisis because only 3% of the population donates blood. That's one that doesn't take much effort on your part, and it comes with free snacks. So that'll be the challenge beginning on Monday. Do yourself a favor and search the web for opportunities to volunteer before Monday. Find something you want to do, and then put it on your calendar. If you find the perfect volunteer opportunity, but it's not happening until after the challenge is over, you can still score the points if you sign up for it during the challenge. I'm not a monster. Don't forget, you can also get points for reading a book. The book I'm going to offer to you this week isn't quite about being a volunteer, but it is about service. It's called Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara, and in this book, Will tells the story of how he took an underperforming restaurant and made it the #1 restaurant in the world. He did it by not only giving his customers more than they ever expected, but also by doing the same for his employees. It's a great example of focusing on the process instead of the outcome. Will focused on the process of making every detail of the service an unforgettable experience, and becoming the top-ranked restaurant in the world happened as a natural result. That's the book for this week, and I think you'll enjoy it. Some of you may find it a bit scary to reach out to a stranger and offer your assistance, but here's another take on it. If you find a chance to help with something you're passionate about, you'll discover that the other people involved are passionate about it too. It's a great way to make new friends with common interest, one that doesn't involve having to get drunk first. For those of you who really don't like talking to other people, like Nob, then yeah, go pick up trash along the road. Please wear a high-vis vest if you do that. A dead volunteer is no good to anybody. I want to leave you on a final note from Martin Luther King Jr. He said, "Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love." I encourage you to not only try this weekly challenge, but you should also attempt the monthly challenge, which starts today. So let's talk about that now. I told you last week that we'd be debuting a monthly challenge today, and here it is. For the month of May, we're going to get moving. According to the World Health Organization, 150 minutes of physical activity each week can help with improving muscular and cardiorespiratory fitness, improving bone and functional health, reducing the risk of hypertension, coronary heart disease, stroke, diabetes, various types of cancer, and depression, reducing the risk of falls as well as hip or vertebral fractures, helping maintain a healthy body weight. I mean, come on, who doesn't want all of those things? I know I certainly do. I've mentioned before that though I am a runner, I haven't run in 3 months due to injury. I wear a fitness tracking device. I have for a few years now, so I have lots of data. And the data shows me that in the last 3 months, since I stopped hitting that 150 minutes of physical activity each week, my stats have all declined. Well, technically the numbers are going up, not down, but that is totally the wrong direction, which means this is the perfect challenge to start with. For the month of May, our challenge is to get moving and a total of 600 intensity minutes for the whole month. Oh, yeah, you may hear me call them intensity minutes because that's what my watch calls them, but it really just means minutes where your heart is beating faster than it normally does. So, as I was saying, 600 intensity minutes for the month works out to 20 minutes a day. But there may be some days where you do more than that and some days where you do less. And that is why it's called an average. Now, whether or not you agree with the specifics of government guidelines, and I'm looking at you, USDA Food Pyramid, we got to start somewhere. And I think the CDC's Physical Activity Guide for Adults is a good place to start. I'll add a link in the show notes so you can go download the guide for yourself. It's free, it's over 100 pages long, and it's got lots more information than what I'm sharing here, including guidelines for your children. Here are the key guidelines. Number 1, adults should move more and sit less throughout the day. Some physical activity is better than none. Adults who sit less and do any amount of moderate to vigorous physical activity gain some health benefits. Totally, right? Get off your butt, move around. Number 2, for substantial health benefits, adults should do at least 150 minutes to 300 minutes a week of moderate intensity physical activity, or 75 minutes to 150 minutes of vigorous intensity, or an equivalent combination of those activities. Preferably spread it throughout the week. Don't just do it all in one big burst once a week. Number 3, additional health benefits are gained by engaging in physical activity beyond the equivalent of 300 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity a week. Now, I know 300 minutes may sound like a lot, but it's really only a 1-hour workout 5 times a week. If you really commit to something, you could do that. Number 4, adults should also do muscle strengthening activities of moderate or greater intensity, and that involves all major muscle groups on 2 or more days a week, as these activities provide additional health benefits. Yes, and I also want to point out that I learned recently that, especially for women, I think starting in your 40s, you lose like 10% of your muscle mass every decade. So it becomes really important the older you get to do strength training. So that is key. And number 5, finally, adults older than 65 should also do activities to improve balance, such as standing on one foot. So those are the 5 key guidelines. Studies have shown that people who hit the 150 minutes of physical activity weekly, it delays death from all causes by 33%. And guess what else is cool? You don't even need to hit 150 minutes to start lowering your own risk. Any amount of movement, more than none, will do it. In fact, simply getting yourself to 60 minutes of movement each week will delay your death from all causes by 20%. There's not many other things that can increase your life expectancy by so much. That's why it's important to get moving and stop sitting around so much. And what does get moving mean exactly? Again, I'll refer you to the physical activity guidelines, which you should really check out for yourself. But in a nutshell, it means get your heart beating faster than usual. Moderate activity includes things like walking briskly or playing with your kids or your dogs, biking slowly, yoga, yard work, basically just not sitting still. Vigorous activity is the good stuff. Running, swimming laps, biking fast, hiking uphill, aerobics. I say it's the good stuff because minutes spent doing these types of things count double. Yeah, double. So 75 minutes a week of vigorous activity is equal to 150 minutes of moderate activity. But any activity, whether moderate or vigorous, will improve your quality of life. So get what you can, even if it's only 20 minutes splashing around in a pool. That'll do it for this week. If you're already a subscriber, look for next week's score sheet in your inbox later today. If you're not a subscriber, sign up for free on Substack to receive it before the challenge begins on Monday. Link in the show notes. Thanks for joining me as always, and until next week, you can do it. I believe in you. Peace. The challenges and score sheets are always free, but if you want to get more out of it, you can join the Path of Most Resistance as a paid subscriber on Substack. This option will get you access to the community chat, along with a link to the weekly challenge check-in calls. Want to push yourself even harder? I also do one-on-one coaching. Click the link in the show notes to book your free discovery call with me. Thanks for listening, and if you're enjoying the show,
Please share it with anyone else you think is up for a challenge.